Hey, Soul Warriors, are you feeling stuck in an endless cycle of healing? Well, you're not alone. In this third part of our spiritual development series, we're diving deep into healing and why it often feels like a never ending journey. Discover how to shift from perpetual healing to embodied wholeness. This is where you move beyond your wounds and back into your power. Ready to turn the page on your healing story? Let's explore how to make healing a chapter, not your entire book. I've sure been in that perpetual loop of healing hell.
Yeah.
It's like, why does this keep coming up? And I'm never feeling like I'm moving beyond it. Or I've been working so hard on it. It's just the layers and the nuances and the focusing on it.
I think it's because the feeling is still the same, or at least we think that the feeling is the same. So it doesn't feel like we're actually moving from the healing part of things. But we are. Mm-hmm. We really, really are. If we just kind of like witness the changes within ourselves, we can see that the healing has occurred. Not to say that there isn't more to unfold, because I was thinking at the healing I've been doing. Mm-hmm. I started doing the work back in my 20s or something like that. I'm 58 now and I'm still working at it, but I know that I'm not 20 something anymore and going through those wounds and disappointments and all those things. You know what I'm saying? It's just like now at 58, I have a greater understanding of who I am because I've taken the time to heal the disappointments, the hurt, the abuse, really tame the anger, because I decided that I was going to be as raw and as honest with myself and the healing. It's about really putting everything on the table and saying, I want to heal because I want to take control of my power. I want to be able to call back all the things that I have let go, that really served me. But at the time I was busy pleasing somebody else or becoming something for somebody else or reacting in a way that you wouldn't normally react. It's about that. Healing is such a powerful energy and state of mind. It's amazing. I mean, when sitting with all this stuff, I was being bombarded by spirit with all these things about being raw, being honest, and not being afraid of taking a really hard look at yourself and heal all this shit that doesn't serve you.
And I think that's one of the big nuances that a lot of us miss is you don't take a look at yourself. And I'm not saying is it what your part in the story is. And that's all the basic healing where we keep looking at the story and poking the wound to see if it's healed yet. Instead of really truly okay, who am I and who do I want to be? Do I want to be the victim in that story? No, that's something that happened to me. And that happened to me for a million different reasons. I have no clue, and it doesn't really even matter at this point because I want to be a happy person. I want to be a free person. I don't want to be tethered to that old story, and that old story isn't me. It's just something that happened in the moment. And a lot of us take on identity from our traumas. I'm a survivor of this and I was a victim of that and this person did me wrong. Instead of yep, that person acted up. I don't know what was going on for them. It doesn't matter. They weren't on my frequency. They have been removed from my life. When we start looking at this as the universe working for you, where it's redirecting you from the relationship you had no business being in, from the job you had no business being in. Either you're not aligning with it or it's just not aligning with you. The universe is constantly redirecting to get you back into that frequency that you're saying that you want to stay on. And if you're beating the drum of your trauma and your victimhood, the mind is going to keep feeding you that, right, to trigger the emotions.
Exactly. And that's the whole thing, that if we stay in the mindset of victimhood, that becomes the story. And if we just take a minute and say, okay, this is, like you said, something that happened. It's not who I am. It's based upon the fact that you've made choices or just life kind of unfolded around you and it was an experience to learn and grow. And seeing it that way versus why did this happen to me? Why did this, you know what I'm saying? If I was to spend my whole life thinking, why did I grow up in an abusive family, with my mom? Why, do I attract a lot of people with anger? I was angry. So if I take a hard look at my part in it and what my energy was kind of bringing up, that's when you start to realize that everything that happens to you, for you, about you, is about shifting and honoring the raw and honest parts about yourself, and really saying, I am not that person anymore. I am not that situation. I am not that whatever. And then you move from there. When you come to the table in a group or within yourself, you're saying, I'm in my power. I'm 100% honest with myself. There is no ego. There is no judgment. There is none of those things at play here. But I'm going to give this. I mean, that's the thing about healing, that the honest parts about yourself really show who you are.
Right. And looking at the different levels of healing, because a lot of people approach healing from the mind. Like, they'll think about the pain, they'll process the pain in their mind, and it keeps coming up because your mind then drops things back into your emotions, which then drops things into your body. And then we miss the whole spiritual piece of it. So when you're going to, say, therapy, awesome. That's a great tool. Works on your mind, works through the emotions that the mind triggers. A lot of times it misses how it drops into your body, unless you have like a somatic practitioner or something. Mm. You won't completely heal from a place of just mind and from a place of just emotions, because it's stored in your cellular memory of your body. So how can we drop that into our body? How can we really listen to our body for a wisdom of what we need to heal, instead of just thinking logically through it? And how do we use our spirituality, not just the healing tools, like, oh, I went to a healer, and all these things that are meant to support you, but a lot of us give our power away to it. Like, this healer's going to fix me. This naturopath's going to fix me. And they're all just supportive tools. Instead of, I'm going to fix me, I'm choosing to call in spirit to assist me and support me. I'm using my connection with my higher self to cue me in on what I might need to do next. I'm not constantly just logically Googling for the next tool or the next healer that I can go to. It's when you start to really learn what keeps you well, instead of just learning another tool to try to fix the thing that's broken. That's when you step into the next part of you, and that healing actually can solidify and occur, and you feel it in your body.
Yeah, because you have to apply some sort of action to all of it. When you really get to that point of listening to your body, deliberately changing your mindset, really being aware of what you're actually thinking, and saying, okay, this isn't the story. This isn't what really is happening. This is, you start to automatically shift all the things that need to be shifted. And then the body takes hold. Then now you're creating a different kind of memory for your body. Mm-hmm. Then you're creating also a different kind of memory for your soul. Your higher self is saying, okay, we're on the right path. This is where you need to be. This is how you need to function. This is what's going to serve you. You start working from those places. But before you get there, all the stuff that's on the table that you refuse, or we refuse to look at, honestly, that's the parts that need to be healed. Mm-hmm. And again, you're probably doing that right now. And we consistently grow and change every single day. We're never the same, minute by minute. So it's just a matter of being so self-aware that and deliberately saying, I'm going to I don't want to say fix, because there's nothing to fix. I'm going to shift me. I'm going to collect my being. I'm going to collect my soul. I'm going to honor who I am and really heal all those things. Because like we said earlier, those are experiences that happened in your life. It's not who you are. So you don't have to sit in that pain. You don't have to sit in that disappointment. You don't have to sit in any of those things. You just say, okay, thank you. I acknowledge it. Awesome. I will learn from it. I will grow from it. I will shift from it.
And that I brought something I had written in my journal actually a few months back that I thought was appropriate, especially with what you just said. And it starts with, I'm seeing the differences in frequency when I'm playing too long in the pain. When I'm sitting too long in money worry, or I'm sitting too long in the friendship that suddenly went bad. I'm sitting too long in those things, and then my frequency starts attracting more of that stuff, and more things start to go wrong. So I know when I'm sitting too long in the pain, because first of all, your nervous system will act up, and you'll start to feel irritated or frustrated or overwhelmed. Those are all body cues to you that something's off frequency wise, and you need to shift. I want to give you a quick message before we get back to this episode. Unlock the secrets of your soul for free with Soul Notes. Say goodbye to feeling stuck and hello to the validation of your alignment. These weekly prompts are filled with reminders, gentle nudges, and sometimes a kick in the ass, all with love from your soul. Don't just take our word for it. Try Soul Notes for yourself and see the difference it can make in your life. Trust us, your soul and you will thank you. Just go to soulnote.org. That's SOULNOTE.org. Now back to our podcast. And then I wrote, I no longer need to continually work on my healing. If something presents for healing, then I'll look at it. Then I'll feel it. Then I'll work through it. Then I'll call in spirit to assist with it. I've done the core deep dive work for many years now. My job right now is to prioritize fun, to prioritize relaxation, to follow my enthusiasm, to do the hard things and the mundane things from a place of passion, power, joy, and love. Enjoyment is now my North Star, not healing. The industry, the spiritual industry, keeps pushing what is wrong and what is broken. It doesn't push working from my joy, and I am choosing that vibration going forward. This is like the power of just like journaling, because I was having a few days in a row of just frustration and overwhelm and just like things just not going right. And so I just start writing. And then it just, stuff like this comes through. And then I can read it back months later and be like, wow, okay.
Right.
That's healing.
I was just going to say that's a form of healing. Put it on paper, say it out loud, get it out of your system.
Exactly.
So that it can live out in the ethers, if you will, versus in you. So that the things that are going to serve you come in. It's making room and space for all that to come through. You know, I used to journal all the time myself. Now it's more about being vocal, like using my voice more and really having conversations that I need to have, things like that, because I get comfortable in a certain method. And then that's what I use all the time. And every situation is different. You can't use the same thing. So, and I've learned that through time and through trial and error pretty much. And now I'm in the phase where I need to talk versus write, be deliberate about what I'm thinking when things are coming up for me. Like we were talking the other day, when things come up for me, I have a conversation with you versus I'm going to sit with that. And I just kind of, do that and stuff it. And then I'm like, then I have a conversation with you, but it's more from a place of it being here versus it being out here. Yeah. And I've noticed the difference that when I do this and I'm like, then it says, oh, well, this is what I was thinking and this is how I was feeling and all this stuff. And I feel like like somebody else is talking through me.
Yeah.
Versus who I am, which is out here saying, what the, and like really getting and processing everything that needs to be processed. So I am now entertaining that new part of me versus all the other things that I have used in my own healing. So it's been an interesting phase for me, for sure.
Yeah, so lean into whatever you don't normally do. Like I talk a lot and I process constantly out loud. So this is a way of me to like quiet down and do what I need to do. The opposite of what I would normally do. You're quiet a lot. So the speaking actually, it shakes you up, it moves your energy, it shows your brain, your body, your spirit that you're ready to be somebody else, you're ready to do something else, you're ready to do things that are uncomfortable, and at the same time balance that out with taking extra care of yourself as you're shifting and as you're growing.
Yeah. I mean, Spirit have told me time and time again in the past several months, it's like the people need to hear your voice. People want to know what you have to say and all those things. And it's, trust me, it's not coming from a place of ego, because a lot of the times I'm like, what the hell do I know? What the hell what does so and so need to hear from me? And it's not about that. Spirit is like, your words have certain power, and it's designed to shift, help, and grow. So, use that. So they need to hear more of you. So do more of that. And that's what I've been doing. I tend to pretty much go with what my higher self is putting on the table, and working from that place. So, and it all has come through based upon years and years and years of healing, of growing, of shifting, of trying new things.
Right. And if it's feeling hard, if healing is feeling really hard for you, it's because an old program is running in the background, and it probably 99% of the time has nothing to do with what you think you're healing. Like if you're working on like money, I brought up money earlier. If you're working on money, it's probably an old program from childhood that you're not even recognizing or realizing. If you're having relationships issues, it's probably somebody that you looked up to, that you saw stayed in a relationship too long, or tried to people please their way through it, or tried to micromanage and control their way through it. And so it appeared to work when you were young because you didn't know any different and you thought that's how it was supposed to work. So these things are underlying, and when you're running on an old program, that's when it'll get hard, because that's not your energetic signature. That's not your signature of being of love and in love with yourself and with whatever you're doing, whoever you're with. This is when we get off a little off track, because we're on somebody else's track at that point that was showed to us when we were a kid. And that's the way. So, okay, that's the way I go. That's the way they went. It's the way I've always gone. Instead of really like, I'm going to trek out over here just because could be an adventure, just because my spirit's calling me that way, just because I haven't tried that way yet. And this way doesn't feel good. It's what I know, but it doesn't really feel good. It feels too hard. There's an easier way.
This is why we always say to be deliberate about your thoughts, because those stories do come up. An example, sometimes my mind likes to go into some past relationship and romanticizes it. Yeah. I'm like, wait, hold up.
Yeah, this is what really happened.
This is what's really going on. This is where you're really at. This is what really happened. This is what we mean by being deliberate about your thoughts. So the minute you catch that story starting to play and getting you in a certain mood, you like, no, that's not my relationship. That's not where I am. That's not where I want to go. I don't need that vibration. But get curious at the same time as to why it's coming up. What is it about that? And 100% of the time is that something in you is looking for that feeling. So create that feeling for yourself where you are currently, not in that story.
Right. And a lot of people, if they're not the fantasizing type, they're the demonizing type. The I've been done wrong and they did this to me and why, and I'm not a good enough person, and I trusted them, and they get into this whole like demonizing story of the anger isn't even a good enough word, the betrayal of it all, basically. And they'll get deep into the betrayal instead of like, okay, yeah, I was betrayed. That didn't work out. This is me. I remember who I am, and I'm not going to betray myself anymore. I probably stayed there way too long. I stayed at that job too long. I stayed at that relationship too long, way past what felt right for me. So it's walking yourself out of the fantasizing, out of the demonization, and finding your path. Finding your path. It just means you're off the path.
Decide the kind of energy you want to live in. And do not compromise that for anything. Because there's things that happen in the world. There are people that you're going to interact with, and some of them are going to come at you with some really low vibrations, and energy's going to suck, and you're just simply going to say, no, thank you, I'm all set. And it's okay to do that. It's going to feel to them like you just slapped them in the face. Yeah. But that's okay, because you're not going to compromise your energy. You're not going to compromise your joy.
Yeah. If you have, like, I don't know, a friend or a family member that you're always with and they're always complaining, or they're always, bitching about other people, talking about other people, like, none of that is high vibration. None of that is good energy. You want to be around people that are lifting you up, that want to know about you and what's going on with you, not you always just being present with them. You're, like, basically in that form, like, just taking on their energy, the bad energy, or the, them just talking about themselves energy, so they can empty themselves of all that and walk away feeling great. And then you're full of all this stuff that's not yours.
Yeah.
So when you're in those situations, because sometimes you're with family or people and that just happens, be sure you're cleaning your energy be sure you're like, okay, whatever is not mine, like, shh, that can just leave my being. And, this is me calling myself back in. Never should have let myself leave to begin with. But yeah, just like cleaning yourself off. Like, I got a little that complaining energy on me.
Yeah, because, we're so used to doing certain things, and sometimes it's so incredibly automatic. But this is where the deliberate part comes in, because when it's happening. You automatically see it. You get some sort of feeling in your body, or some thought goes through, is like, you get that little there, and that's when you start to pay attention. Then that's when you can see yourself going down a certain road or going down a certain story that no longer serves you. And that's when you get to say, no, thank you. I am not there. I am not that person. I do not want that in my soul. I do not want that in my life. And that's where you get to see just how much fucking healing you've gone through and you've accomplished. So I would go from there, because that's the way to roll it, At least that's how I roll.
As much as we possibly can.
Absolutely.
So we're urging you to please take a more proactive approach. You probably feel like you are in your healing because you're like, I'm showing up and I'm doing the therapy and I'm doing the shadow work and I'm doing all the things. What we're talking about with taking a proactive approach is, you create your reality. So take responsibility for creating your health and creating your wellness. What supports your being, and choosing that again and again and again. And when you have to dive into the crappy things that happen, dive in, do what you need to do, come back out and reset yourself in who you are, in what you want, and in how you want to live.
Yes, absolutely. And please do not do this by yourself if that is not what you want. That's what we're here for. So give us inbox us, email us, whatever. We're here to serve. That's what we're here for. And our community is so incredibly supportive. So so be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Be kind. Peace.